If I were to tell you that there is something that you can do to improve your brain, meaning improve your focus, your self-esteem, cognitive performance, and it would have long-lasting effects which would protect the brain from Alzheimer's, dementia, and even depression, will you take action? And no, this is not me selling you something. This in fact exists, and I'm referring to exercise. Our brain exists for the purpose of moving around. One neuron means we're alive. Two neurons means we're moving. The more complex the neural network becomes, the more complex movements are, as well as more adaptable. This can be observed in animals like ascidians, which have a brain, but once they find their home or the place where they're going to remain for the rest of their lives and won't need to move anymore, they will go through a process in which they will reabsorb their brain as energy. For these animals, less movement means less brain. This shows us an important aspect that has to do with energy expenditure. The brain uses a lot of energy, and it will not make sense for the brain to be using a lot of energy on complex tasks when it's not necessary, especially maintaining the areas when the person won't make use of them. So how does exercise benefit our brain? The first thing to remember is that the amount of neurotrophin increases. Neurotrophin is a growth factor that's in charge of helping us produce more neurons, making an essential step for keeping the brain healthy and plastic. This last part means that if I need to change a habit or change the way of thinking, this causes the creation of new neuronal networks, giving rise to neuroplasticity, and for that to occur, we need neurotrophin. It prevents loss of cognitive function, memory problems, or dementia. Now, something amazing about exercise is that it helps to stimulate the speed at which we're able to learn new information. For me to be able to have a higher cognitive performance, it's not about drinking neurotrophic supplements, but instead doing a strength exercise. Studies show that students that perform strength exercise with high intensity before a class were able to learn new words of other languages 20% faster than those who didn't exercise. The key to understand this effect is that whenever the brain is learning something new, it needs to make changes in the network and modify the structure and even produce new neurons. 20 to 40 minutes of strength exercise is enough to create a 30% increase of neurotrophin levels. On top of that, it helps to reduce anxiety, stress, and of course, lower cortisol due to the feedback mechanism. This feedback is a way of triggering certain events, like in an event of running away while being attacked. This end result will either increase the levels of cortisol to react faster, or once we're out of danger, change the system to use the physical exhaustion and normalize cortisol levels. In us humans, we tend to elevate cortisol as a result of our imagination. But it's even worse because we don't move or we don't do anything physical to lower that cortisol. We simply go through life working hard with high levels of cortisol 24/7. This is a big problem because it doesn't just affect our self-esteem, but where more anxiety is created, but constant high levels of cortisol accelerates the speed at which the brain tissue is damaged. For this reason, exercise is one of your best allies and tools to adapt your body and be able to better react to stress. We can create changes in the brain in different ways, such as exercise, learning something new, even exposing the brain to electromagnetic waves. Movement signals the brain that something important is happening. If the person remains still, it will not justify learning something new. We're simply not created to remain still and live a sedentary life. So what's the link between exercise and motivation? Everything we do has a reward, and this type of reward is given to us by the brain in the form of dopamine. Obviously, I'm oversimplifying because motivation is more complex than just dopamine release. However, exercise, other than stimulating the release of dopamine, it also helps to create more receptors for dopamine in our reward system. This is important because if something that previously gave you a reward feeling of 10, now it's going to be even higher. Exercise is not only going to increase dopamine, but also serotonin and noradrenaline. The effect is so high that there are studies demonstrating the efficacy with depression. So let's assume that there are no problems with motivation, no problems with learning new subjects, and an overall good self-esteem. At this point, the question emerges, why would I need to exercise? Well, that's because exercise doesn't just help in these areas. if it happens to be a problem, it's always going to help increase performance. Therefore, it will increase self-esteem even more and learn new things even faster. Everyone knows that exercise is good for the heart and to lose weight. But these benefits are vague and usually only become important once the person gets older to prevent heart attacks. Using exercise to lose weight is surprisingly not that effective unless the person puts an effort to increase their metabolism, as it happens to be with high intensity interval training or strength exercises. In fact, when it comes to running for long distances, the amount of calories that are burned are not correlated to weight loss. However, this doesn't mean that it is bad. It simply means that whenever we exercise, the focus should be to increase the amount of mitochondria per cell so we produce more energy or increase the muscle mass. This obviously ends up increasing the amount of mitochondria in cells. The more mitochondria, the more energy, the more calories are burned. This approach is more effective to lose weight. And if there was a drug that provided all the benefits that exercise provides, without a doubt, it would be the most valuable drug ever created. And while this video may contain information that you and I already know, I did it as a reminder for myself of the importance of exercising daily and its mental benefits. For me, exercise is more beneficial for its neurological effects than it is for its cardiovascular benefits. So if you're feeling with low self-esteem, now you have a tool to increase productivity, cognitive performance, and self-esteem. And that's it for this video. If you guys found this video helpful, please hit the like button. They tell me it helps the YouTube algorithm. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see next. Don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next one.